So, in this community post, I'm going to be showing you how to create a dynamic, a dynamic filter. And what this filter is a filter that can change on its own without needing your input. And the filter itself technically doesn't change, so what you set in the filter won't change. But the records are going to be updated in a way that they will be changing in the background due to scheduled workflow, which in itself will update the filter. So, in this example, I'm going to be showing you how to create a report to show you just the current records or the current tasks that will be due on the current month. And also another report that will show you how to create the current tasks that are due for this current year. First of all, you'll need to decide what field you want to be filtering on. So in this example, I want the reports to show the due date for the current year or for the current month. Next, I'll then go into App Studio. First thing you're going to want to do is to create a date now field. This is one I created earlier. So it's a simple field, which is just a date field with the label date now. No expressions, no default values, no formatting, no nothing. Next, you want to go into your workflow and you want to create a date now workflow. So here I created one before. In this example, I'm creating two, but you'll only need to create the one. I'm creating two just so I can show you it working. So I'm going to show you on the click of a button. But the one you'll be creating is actually this one, which will be a scheduled job workflow. And what you'll need to do is to create a scheduled job that will repeat every day. I've set mine to be 9 o'clock every day. You may want to set this earlier. You're going to want to make sure you set this to the right time zone. So say on Monday morning, you want to see the actions that are due for this month. You're going to want to probably set this a couple of hours earlier just to make sure you get the most up-to-date workflow. Next, you're going to want to make sure you select yourself as a user or an admin user who has access to all records, as the records that are going to be updated are only going to be the records that this user has access to. So I've made sure that I always have access to all records. So once you've set this up, you click OK, and then you move on to your filter. Now, this filter I've set up is to be of status green, amber, red, and unset. And what this represents are these records here that have a status of not black and not blue, as a status of black or blue means that it's either on hold or that it's completed. So that means it's no longer due. And we want to set those filters to stop wasted effort. So what this allows us to do is that it doesn't waste any resources and it doesn't slow down your site at all, having to run this workflow on a bunch of records that actually don't need it. So we've put that filter on, and then we've set up a update field value. And now this is again just a simple action of you select your target field from before that we created earlier, which was the date now field, and then you put in the expression date now bracket bracket. You want to make sure you set ignore access right, so you want to make sure you can put it on all the records you have access to. And you're going to want to select use rolling updates and pass, just select all these values here, copy it what I've done here. All it does is to make sure you've got the most up-to-date value, but you're also passing on the most up-to-date value for any future workflow as well. So once this has been set up, you just click OK. And now every morning, this scheduled workflow is going to run at 9 o'clock for all records that have a green, amber, red or unset status, and it's going to put the date now value into the record. So once this has been set, don't forget to publish. Next, we're going to create our two filter fields. Now, this is going to be the this month field and this year field. These are both pretty much exact copies of each other. They are both bit fields. I'm going to use the this month as my example, and you're just going to put an expression in like this. And I'll just break down what this does. So first, it's going to check that if the record is either completed or on hold, because you don't want this running and you don't want this showing up in filters if the status of the record is black or blue. So we're just going to check if it's black or blue, and we'll set it to false if it is. Otherwise, we'll then check if both the date fields, the due date and the date now field, have valid dates in them. If they don't have valid dates, it will cause the expression to error, and it will cause the record to error, and you won't be able to save anything. So we're just going to check that those are true. And if they're not true, then it's going to set it to false. Otherwise, if it's true, it will then check if the month of the date now field and the month of the due date field match. And if they match, it will set it to true. Otherwise, false. Once this has been set, you just save it again. And if you want, again for the year, it's basically the exact same expression, but instead of having month here, you have year. So once you've got your field set, that's pretty much all the work done. I'm just going to show you how this works to make sure you get an understanding. So you can see here that this has a status of black. So when I update this record with this button, this is going to run the workflow, the second workflow I showed you earlier. You can see the workflow has been run, and it shouldn't put anything in the date now field. Now, if I change this to, say, green, it's going to refresh to make sure you see that nothing's been put in the date now. I'll then run the workflow again, refresh, and in a couple of seconds, that should show as date now. So now here, you can see there's a date now option in here. You can see that it's not in the same month as the due date, so this month hasn't been ticked, but it is in the same year, so this year has been ticked. And this is what the scheduled workflow is going to be doing every day. Now, you've got your two filter fields, so all you need to do is create the filters for them. There are two options for this. You can do one in Workspace or one in App Studio. I'll show you the Workspace one first. So go into your filter area, click New Filter, add a filter. This is going to be on this month. Then select Is Checked, save, add a sort by or a group by if you want. I suggest probably sorting by the due date. And then save, enter in your filter name, set it if you want it to be a personal filter, a team filter, or a global filter. And then bang, you've got your new filter. And you can see I've got one here that's due to this month. Next, I'm going to show you how to do this in a report filter. So you just go to a report that you want to add the filter to. I'll select my export. This is just a hidden one, but I'm just going to show you how to add it into the base filter. You get your filter string below. I'm going to do this based off this year. It's equal to true. And now that's going to show me on this export only the records that are due this year. Perfect. Well, hope this has helped, and I hope you've understood. If you have any questions, please do comment them on the video or comment them on the community post. We are looking to expand this to this week as well, and also maybe this quarter. If you're interested in how to do any of those, do let me know. Or if you have any questions on how to do some of your own practices, please let us know. Thank you for watching.